Before today, I had never even walked by this pulpit, and that was okay with me. Anyway, we've been members of this church for 32 years. Debbie and I have been married for 34, and I was baptized in the First Baptist Church in Lake Charles at 6 years old, and my salvation was never in question since then. But as a young man, I guess I didn't see the importance of a daily walk with God. My life wasn't that complicated. Whatever we had between Debbie and I, we could work it out. And so I just didn't see the point. God gave us two wonderful sons to raise, and life got more complicated. And as they grew, there was sports and there was homework, and it wasn't all the kids. There was just all kind of stuff there, but it wasn't all the kids. There were things going on at work and for me, and things at Debbie's school, and then there were things with our families, sort of unsolvable problems. And you would pick up the newspaper, and there were gangs that had moved to Shreveport, and they were killing people in the streets, and terrorists were threatening us. In the distance, there were cars to be bought, and car insurance, and there was, in the far distance, was college tuition, and I was just overwhelmed. My life had gone from being uncomplicated to being real complicated, and I was doing it all myself. It was like a big, cumbersome ball of string. I was miserable. At times, there were nights when I would just walk the floors just grinding on my life. And I would sit up there in that balcony, and I would grind for a solid hour. I'd walk out of here with a headache that would split a bowling ball. I'd just have to go home and go to bed. That was a different preacher, though. And I wish I could say the weight of that life drove me to my knees, but I'm not that smart. God had to find me. I always woke up early, and one morning I was sitting on the couch waiting for the newspaper to come, and one of the kids' Bibles had actually made it out of the car. That was the first miracle, and onto the coffee table in the living room. And I reached over and I picked it up, and I began to thumb through it, and nothing. So I did what you do with a book. I turned to page 1, and I began to read. And I read for a little while, and I heard the newspaper come, and I put the Bible down, and I went and got the newspaper, and somehow my day was better. So the next day I got up and I did it again, and that day was better. About a week later, Debbie asked me, she said, "Are you still reading the Bible every day?" And I said, "Yeah, but I've never read the Bible cover to cover, and I really wish I had a version that was written in my terms, not the King James Version." She called me from the Baptist bookstore that day. She said, "What version do you want?" You see, she had already begun to see the change. And God changed, that word changed every relationship I had. It changed my relationship with my wife, with my kids. It changed my relationships at work, with every relationship I had. It changed my life. And eventually, I was able to take that big ball of string that I called a life and take it off of my shoulders and put it where it belonged, which was at God's feet. And since that time, we've been just so blessed. We had a 10-year ministry in the middle school here at Broadmoor Baptist Church. We've added 2 precious daughter-in-laws to our family. We did make it through college and the tuition and all that somehow. And right now, we're pleased to be involved in 2 new ministries, family ministries. One is called Before We Say I Do, and that's for couples, engaged couples, and then there's another one for couples in crisis called Marriage Mentors, brand new to this church. But I guess what I want to say is that there's power in this word. The power of God is in this word. There's power to build a life, there's power to guide a life, and there's power to heal a life.